Hello everyone, welcome back again. This next section is designed not just for college kids, and I say that because I have the privilege of going to universities on occasion. If you saw the video of myself at Bethune Cookman, for example, I really get to make a big impact on these students' lives. And what ultimately ends up happening in not just America, but any country for that matter, is people go to college and they're typically going to college so that after college, their parents don't want them living at home, right? So the kid has to start out and go and make money, all right? And in order to make money, they have to go out and get a job, okay? And whether you're interested in working for someone for the rest of your life or not, typically everyone is at some juncture in their life going to go through what's called the interview. And the reason I say that this can be impactful whether you're a student, but it can also be impactful to any adults out there. And in fact, a gentleman I had the luxury of talking to the other day who went for an interview in the morning, he didn't know the question that I'm about to share with you, and he's kicking himself and wishing that he had have known it. And he believes that what I'm about to teach you has a value that is priceless for him. See, here's what commonly happens, and I've surveyed a lot of employers and a lot of people that interview people from human resources, and here's what typically happens. A student or whoever it is going for the interview will suit themselves up, they'll do their hair up, they'll look the part, they'll typically get in their car, or even if they're going on some form of public transportation, they're paying either gas or for a train ticket, bus ticket, you name it, to go along for this interview. And they're going to sit in front of the interviewer, and the interviewer is going to ask them questions for probably about half an hour, 40 minutes. And then at which point, after asking the interviewee, us, the questions, the interviewer is then going to turn around to them and say, do you have any questions for me? And most interviewers that I've actually surveyed and researched with this tell me that 9 out of 10 individuals say, no, we don't have any questions. They'll walk out the door, and the chances of them getting the job are down here. Now, let me stipulate, no guarantees. I am not going to tell you that the question I'm about to share with you that you should be asking is going to get you the job, okay? There are no guarantees on that. What I will share with you, though, is that by having this question in your tool belt to be able to ask an interviewer, all right, a question back, and not only that, a very good question, is going to certainly take your chances from down here, if you don't ask it, to elevate it to up here. All right, now, some of you are probably intrigued, as always, on what is that question, Jamie? Here it is. Because we understand, because we watch the questions section, whoever is asking the questions wins the conversation. So my interview, if I was interviewing for a job and the interviewer turned around to me and said, do you have any questions for me? I'm thinking, great, you've now given me control of the interview. So I'm going to say, I am so glad you asked me if I have any questions. All right? I'm sure if you're like me, you appreciate when someone is very upfront with you, all right, which is going to generate a yes from them. No one's ever going to admit to somebody that they like being lied to. Okay, so I will turn around and say, I have been very upfront in answering every question that you've asked of me here during this interview. So, based on the responses that I've given you, can you share with me all the benefits that you would get in hiring me today? Okay, I'll repeat that question so you fully can understand it without having to rewind and play it back. Okay, again, I am so glad you asked me if I have any questions. I'm sure if you're like me, you appreciate when someone is very upfront with you because you want them to be upfront with you. Can you share with me all the benefits that you would get in hiring me today? All right, based on the responses that I gave you. Now, the good news is this, because 9 out of 10 people are not asking questions, the likelihood of this interviewer ever being asked this question are a lot more remote, so they will be taken back a bit. But the good news is you've only asked them to share the benefits that they would get, and you made it about today. If there is something important I can impart on you, it's if you walk out that door, within 5 seconds of walking out the door, they've pretty much forgotten about you and they're now going to interview the next person who may or may not have more an impact on them than you have. So the notion is you want them to hire you today. You don't want them to hire you a month from now, a year from now. Now they might share with you there's additional interviews to go through in the process, I get it, but putting them on the spot and asking them to list the benefits is something that's not typically done to them, and they will respect that. All right, so the idea is it's not necessarily that it's guaranteeing you're going to get the job, but it's a great question that you have in your ammunition now, so you're not like the 9 out of 10 individuals just walking out the door without asking any questions. You've not wasted money on gas, money on a train ticket. You've not gone and bought an outfit for yourself that you can't afford just to get a job that asking no questions of you would never get. I hope you've appreciated that question. I know it's come in handy for a lot of individuals out there that I've been able to impact and teach that question, and that right there really is worth its weight in gold to you and probably is a return on investment by itself. But here's the good news, there's a lot more sections and clips to come. Thank you.